Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honourable Prime Minister, the members of Cabinet, leaders of opposition, and the Honourable members of this House. Madam Speaker, it gives me great pleasure to respond to the 2018 and 2019 national budget, like all other honourable members, tabled by the Honourable Attorney General and Minister of Economy. I do so with a great deal of excitement, as the proposed budget allocation supports my ministry, changing direction, and will enable us to provide better service to our youth and sports people across the nation. It is indeed a family budget. It is indeed a home budget. It's indeed a youth budget. An exciting announcement: many young families and couples who generally fall under the youth category of 15 to 35 years of age face challenges planning for the future. With the new provision, these young families can plead and use government assistance to fulfill their family dreams, family needs. Madam Speaker, government continues to provide support in the development of youth in an integrated way, and we all do. For the next 4 years, we continue to be strong to advocate for community-based programs to provide youth with the opportunity to develop life skills. Our programs promote inclusivity and foster technical life skills to sustain livelihoods. We need continued collective and coordinated effort from both youth practitioners and educators to ensure success. I must also acknowledge that the contribution for this government to development is not restricted to the ministry, but it embedded across several ministries, which we welcome. Issues affecting the youth can only be addressed in the systematic and coordinating way, and the Youth of Entrepreneurship Scheme provide much needed support to our young people as they continue their career path, which begins with the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Madam Speaker, since we took office in 2015, both I and the Assistant Minister have visited well over 200 villages in the youth and club settlements in the Western Division, 150 in the Central, 100 in the Northern, and close to 100 in the Eastern Division. Indeed, I have crossed the river 29 times, over 8 hours, to visit the youths of Tumbarua and Nasovere, with colleagues from other ministries who have been to those villages. Through this visit, we have been able to have a thorough session with the youth using the bottoms-up approach. The participation in decision-making at grassroots level is a vital component of our development. Youth must be provided opportunities and a platform to air their views and be respected regarding matters that concern them. This is in line with our Constitution and something this government encourages. Madam Speaker, during our consultation, we received over 1,000 requests and heard issues from communities and youths. This range from water sanitation, education, training, farm roads, agriculture inputs, entrepreneurial needs, sports equipment, and development of sports facility. We have also heard on many occasions that youth wants to know about climate change, that we need to support youth who drops out of university, that we need to address issues and intergenerational dialogue, and to educate especially our generation that we need to address multiculturalism as well as violence against women and children. Madam Speaker, my ministry has listened, and these are now included in our training offer to the youth, with support from the Fiji Education Commission, Climate Change Unit, the Ministry of Education, and various other NGOs and the UN agencies. We hope to address these issues raised by our youth. Madam Speaker, I thank the government of the day for funding provision which enable my ministry to meet the needs of young in every way possible, help improve their prospects. We have truly embraced the concept of building values that lead to success, and have seen for ourselves the concept reap success, particularly Madam Speaker, for young women, all searching for better opportunity and a stable livelihood. We have an inclusive approach where we encourage equal participation for women in all our training. We have also increased our outreach to sexual reproduction and health rights. Basic training supported by the Ministry of Health and Medical Services and the UNFPA. Our sexual reproductive health and rights manual is now available, which will assist trainers deliver comprehensive training. Madam Speaker, through our cooperation with the UNFPA, I'm delighted to say that we are now able to focus on the issue of sexual reproductive health and rights of our youth. Through this and in cooperation with the Ministry of Health and Medical Services, the Ministry of Education and NGOs, we will work to roll back the number of teenage pregnancies which occur from which our young men walk away, leaving the young woman and the child to fend for themselves. This complements the focus on the family which this budget encourages. In addition, Madam Speaker, we are well positioned to work with the same institution to support the initiative to counteract the prevalence of HIV and AIDS. We need to support those who are HIV positive and living with AIDS as they are someone's brother or sister, a cousin or grandparents. It is manageable. It is not the end of the road for everyone. Madam Speaker, my ministry will bring more focus to promoting values and social cohesion through youth and sports development. We seek to empower youth through training and opportunities relevant to their needs with certificates of attainment and not participation. On the sporting front, we are already working more closely with the Fiji National Sports Commission and our national sports organization to increase the mutual beneficial cohesion between youth and sports development. However, we should not forget that sports development is about all Fijians, not just youth. The Ministry is committed to enhance integrated, holistic and sustainable youth development. We are always conscious of the existing imbalances and current realities. We strive to build on the strong foundation of non-discriminatory Fiji in which young people contribute effectively to nation building, realizing their full potential through social, economic and political development, and increasingly, Madam Speaker, addressing climate change issues, building their future in both the blue and green economy. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Youth and Sports is improving service delivery for ensuring the holistic social economic development for our target audience while coordinating and support our stakeholders and development partners, including UN agencies. The Ministry focuses on building the values that lead to success through investing in young people through youth and sports development programs. The Ministry provides training, supports and infrastructure to the youth of this country to encourage development of leadership, entrepreneurship and gender equality, social and constitutional responsibility. We are a ministry for all youths, Madam Speaker, and for all sports persons. As we expand our programs to meet the diverse needs of our youths, we need to share best practices amongst youths to harness their energy, innovation and determination. Youth capacity building, empowerment and training are our strengths. The Ministry is the custodian of non-formal education, and we are making steady progress in this sector with the Ministry of Education support. My ministry has organized a meeting and for the first time brought together NGOs, CSOs, faith-based organizations, government ministry to establish a council to guide the direction and standards of non-formal education in Fiji. I formally launched the council last month. The ministry will continue to provide capacity building and empowered training programs, encouraging youth to become productive and responsible for our nation. Just over 1 million has been allocated to fund income generating projects. Our seed of success, training, empowerment training, youth feed the nation, and and the Feed the Nation program and mobile skills training. We take our service to the youth where they are. This is real customer service. Madam Speaker, last week I officiated at the Duke of Edinburgh International Award at Tilak High School in Lautoka. 173 vibrant award recipients received 26 gold, 59 silver, and 88 bronze medals. Some, Madam Speaker, were simultaneously awarded both silver and bronze. I am delighted, Madam Speaker, that through this award, we have begun to work closely with Fiji Police and the Pygmy Youth Clubs to address youth crime. The Duke of Edinburgh International Award enables young people to achieve as individuals and as a team. It promotes community service, self-discipline, focus on achieving goals, and finally on success. 20 young people from the Pygmy Youth Clubs received award last week, and I'm looking forward to give them when they receive gold awards next year. The program has proven successful, and with the support and the collaboration from the Ministry of Education, we will now be able to reach more young people. $30,000 has been allocated to this award program, which is destined to make positive contribution to the development of young people. We hope to continue our work with the police and RFMF to reach more youth at risk across the country using the Pygmy model. Madam Speaker, we encourage good citizenry, civic pride and volunteerism. Youth make up the largest number of volunteers worldwide. 200,000 has been allocated for our youth voluntary organization training to encourage more youth to take up volunteerism and community work. Indeed, many youths are already planting trees and mangroves, regenerating coral and picking up litters, and this must extend across our country in support of Fiji's presidency of COP23. In the spirit of cooperation, Madam Speaker, we instituted a successful program of training mainly young people in basic carpentry as in areas ravaged by TC Winston. This brought together the Ministry of Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation, the Technical College of Fiji, and the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Through this, we have trained young women and men in over 60 villages to rebuild their homes, because there are lack of carpenters and the materials are in abundance. I am proud to say that the young men and women have successfully constructed houses in this village. Many also found permanent employment with major construction companies. Madam Speaker, we have revived the National Youth Policy and will conducting public consultation beginning on the 31st of July to the 8th of August. Before finalizing the policy, this is to ensure that our service remain contemporary and cutting edge. Since the policy was established, technology has had a major impact on how we work and communicate. It is appropriate to gather feedback on the revised National Youth Policy so that the voices of our youth is usually reflected and embedded in the policy. 50,000 has been allocated towards this exercise. Madam Speaker, it is recognized in the national policy that marginalized youth, including people with disability, women, rural residents, LGBTIQ, ex-offenders, and require NFE programs either as bringing program or as empowering tool to support the development, to develop their full potential. To support more effective and accurate decision making, Madam Speaker, we have successfully launched a new database in the 2017-2018 financial year. I've been calling for this as it will enhance our decision making capacity and since delivery to all parts of our country. With the allocation of 20,000, we will be able to maintain this database and share information with the ministry, and hope that they likewise will share their information with us to support increased coordination of services. Madam Speaker, I am delighted that just over 800,000 has been provided to upgrade our 4 training centers through around Fiji. Estivale Level Training Center has been upgraded in this financial year, the last financial year. These upgrades are required to ensure that our training programs are credited with the PGI Education Commission, and that we provide our trainees and best possibly residential learning environment. We are determined to ensure that our training center are used 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. To achieve the maximum return of government investment, this means that we are open to offer short courses, other training in the evening and weekends, host conference and building events throughout the year. The upgrade of our facility and team building events throughout the year. The upgrade of our facility, in YTC in the South Youth Training Center in Navitu, will be conducting Class 2 courses this year. The program commenced with a refresher course in April this year for those who have completed the Class 3 in our Youth Training Center. So the Class 2 testing tool has been purchased. We are waiting confirmation from the date from FNU. So once we have that Class 2, we'll go to Class 1. This is empowering the youth. Not only in carpentry, we also empower the youth by driver training, canteen ownership, the wood carving, market stalls, the Class 6 and boat captain license. And I have the list for women and disabled here from the 4th division or the 14th province. We also will now look into a new sports and education program in our youth training center. Concurrent to our NFP non-formal education programs, we will now train our trainees on sports programs. Hence, physical education and activity will become an integral component of our training center with an allocation of $10,000. Madam Speaker, just over 2 million has been allocated for the rural sports complex to fund the next phases of the construction of the rural sporting facility in Bunsia and Sawayake. It can now and now in line with government's long-term plan to establish a modern sports facility around the country. In addition, we are assessing a site in Bunindawa. This will give all the athletes the opportunity and will be constructed by the Chinese aid program, the skills and in wide range of sports. It will also provide opportunity for more fun days to be run to encourage increased physical activity to help us improve our mental and physical well-being and combat our non-communicable disease epidemic. Madam Speaker, with proper facilities, athletics and participants will not be able to excel in their sports of choice. To get more physical active, the ministry continuing to develop rural sporting fields and grounds to school and youth alike. A sum of 500,000 is allocated for this program, and this increase will help us to begin to address the backlog of requests for assistance. Madam Speaker, government realized the positive impact sports makes in our nation. Sports and physical activity play a key role in engaging citizens as they promote better school cohesion and dialogue. We need to expose our athletes to top competition. As a member of the progress they have made and still make, a total of 4.8 million is allocated to assist team athletes participation in the overseas tournament. It's also an additional allocation of 1.5 million for the organization of the 2018 Oceania Rugby Sevens tournament. Madam Speaker, the Ministry is also committed to promote ethical sports, sporting behavior in allied sports. Athletes are often tempted to use banned performance enhancing substance. In the recent year, my ministry has been working to strengthen the role of National Anti-Doping Organization. We have been allocated 10,000 towards the subscription of National Anti-Doping Organization. Madam Speaker, as a policy maker for youth and sports and development, we have a clear responsibility to foster unity in our diversity. A critical role is promoting social inclusion. Developing sports will have immediate social and economic benefits, not only through remittance from employment overseas, but from having a more active and healthy population, reducing costs to our. I would like to conclude from a quote from Thomas S. Monson: "Fill your minds with truth, fill your heart with love, and fill your life with service." Madam Speaker, I just want to respond to Ratu Tevita Nyumatuali this morning. It's about empowering youth in Namuka. In 2017, I went to Lakab. He was there, but he didn't mention. We empowered the youth of the people of Visangutu was brought together by the document to leave lost expertise in doing the planting. Madam Speaker, I thank you for the privilege. Therefore, I have no hesitation in supporting the motion before the House to approve the 2018-2019 national budget.